Hi everyone, I'm Wookiee Monster, and this is part 4 in our Ancient City series. In the previous ones, we went over kind of how to settle your people, how to build things, and how to maximize your storage usage. And how to make groups, and how to name them differently so you're not really confused on what each group is doing. I just want to click on this group because I don't remember where our village is at. That's one thing I hope they really focus on in the next games, but for now, this is the best way for us to do it. We don't have huts or anything, so our villagers are literally sleeping wherever they get tired. So it's kind of funny. In this video, we're going to go over the attributes of each of our members and kind of look into how to maximize that in the future, since early access, there's really no benefit to like the religion. You can't really make people make babies together, and their personalities don't really affect too much of what's going on in the game. So let's go over each member here. Zara is 51 years old, so she's kind of out of the baby making range, but that's okay for us. Here it says she's an elder, so her fitness is going to be lowered. She's not that smart, and so when you kind of go on beyond early access and everything, that's going to play a really important part in, you know, who's going to be doing what job, who you want to breed together. She's spineless, so that means she's not going to lead people. She likes being told what to do. And right now she's extremely bothered because there's no proper housing, which makes sense because we just traveled here and we don't have enough materials to build a house. But we're going to quickly correct that. As you can see, we're already building the houses. Let's go back. Here we have a 13-year-old Ike. Ike is... he's really strong. He's a child. He's very clumsy, so that's also going to dictate what he does and doesn't do. I don't know how to say this name. Atani. She's 23. She has nothing really special going on about her. She's pretty average. She's strong-willed, which I'm surprised hasn't been highlighted. But she's just kind of perturbed that there's no sleeping arrangements. Here's another good one. He's really skilled. He's really strong. But people don't like being around him, so that's kind of unfortunate for him. He's not very charismatic, but you can kind of know who you're going to make a politician, who you aren't. Based off the symbols there, she's extremely intelligent, but she's a sheep. She's a follower. Here, he's not really anything special. This symbol, he's really clumsy. That's kind of an interesting symbol. I never really remember that. Here, the kid is extremely skilled. He's a child. That's a broken bone, so he's really weak. A child, he's pretty dumb. This means he's really tall. If the symbols were the other way around, obviously that means he's short. Not very... no one likes to be around this guy. It looks like a lot of the guys no one likes to be around. Here he's very strong. He's a child. He's dumb. He's very charismatic and he's very skilled. He's charismatic. He's short, he's a child, he's clumsy, and he's dumb. Here, nothing special about her. And this, he's charismatic and he's dumb. So you kind of get used to how everything is here. And just by looking at the symbols, eventually you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Now, if you don't like setting up groups, you can kind of set up everything as like, hey, let's have the whole tribe do this as a whole. I don't like doing that because... that can get really difficult, trying to dictate how many people you want doing each task, and it's kind of just really messy. So I don't recommend just telling everyone to kind of do everything at the same time. Now let's go over to the policy tab here. The policy tab is going to dictate how much food everybody eats. So here, that's not a lot of food at all, but that's kind of, it might be really good to do if your villagers consume a lot. But there's not a lot of resources near you. But keep in mind that they're going to get extremely grumpy and their production might get lowered there. Labor time as well. This tells your people how often they need to work. So if you want them working from sun up to sun down, or barely working at all, that works too. They'll consume less food if they're not really working. Labor age. Here we have elders and adults working. Here you can only have adults. Here you might have everybody working. It doesn't matter if they're old or young. Just have to keep in mind these symbols here. We do have quite a bit of children, so maybe we want them working just a little bit. Culture, this tab isn't really important right now. It just kind of tells you what type of culture they have, and if you really want to read this blurb, you can actually pause this video and look at it, or in your game you can look at it as well. This is just a small wiki. It tells you just the basic stuff when you click over everything. This is just your tribe buildings, the whole, not too important because everyone knows where to sleep and do things like that. So now that we have that all situated, we can kind of just keep playing the game. I am going to speed time up because it is night, and they don't do anything at night. So now your villagers are starting to wake up, which works for us. And if you're not sure if time is passing, you just look at the stars and see them going. So as you can see here, this is almost finished being built. These are the pits that are going to be storing the clams, which is really good. Let's put a high priority on that. We have people fishing for clams right now, and so we want these to be done. That way we can store the clams and have no issues. If you want to know exactly what your villagers are doing, you can kind of click on each villager and see he's eating, he's looking for resources, he's cropping. So you kind of know what they're each doing. These people are probably looking for resources to finish building this, since I did put this at a high priority. So a pit is completed. Let's pause this. Now that we have one pit completed, we can actually dictate what food goes in each pit. Keep in mind here that these are all different seasonal foods. I have not been able to find hazelnuts in any of my gameplays, so keep in mind that these are probably not in the game yet. Berries are available during spring and summer. One of the earlier videos that we did, I actually went over. The berries are available in the spring and summertime, but we don't have a lot of berries currently, and I think that's just because of the area I picked in, and we're not actually picking any of the berries right now because I want more berries to spawn. If you overpick and pick all the berries, no more berries will spawn, so don't do that. We're in a heavily populated clam area, so we're going to make this a clam pit. Now that we made it a clam pit, we need to go to our groups and go to our berries and clams. Here we need to make sure that we already assigned this. We did it in an earlier video right when we set this up, which I recommend getting in a habit of doing. They know now that this is a storage area to store their clams, and they don't need to store them randomly just out and about everywhere. We put a high priority on collecting the clams just because that's going to be our main food source for now, since we're kind of relying on dry fish. Same thing's going to be done when this pit's also done. Now we can keep going with normal time. We're going to go a little bit faster just because we know what everything's going on. Here we can keep in mind what we each have, what everyone's doing. Villagers are coming back with different things. You can tell she has sticks. She also has, or he also has sticks as well. Let's put a high priority on this hut. People are really pissed off that they had to sleep outside last night, so let's finish this thing. So this guy had a lot of plant fibers on him. Now that we have 4 plant fibers, we can actually start building things, or have the builders make things. Let's go to the builders here and click on the taskbar. So in this specific taskbar, builders can build stone axes and different tools and things that can actually help in the future. We need these ropes to build the huts and to build different items here. So we're going to click on the rope. These builders are actually going to sit down and actually work on building these things. Keep in mind that these different buttons do mean different things. I actually don't know what this button does. Oh, you can build... Oh, okay. Well, I learned this with you guys. So you can actually set for... This is a continuous loop, which should have been obvious now that I look at it. So if you click on this, they will constantly build ropes as long as they have the material. You'll never have to retell them to build the ropes as long as this is here. If you don't want them building ropes, you just click on that. But we actually want them building ropes. We only have enough to build 2, so let's just tell them to build 2 for now. If you click off here, see, we only have 4 plant fibers. They'll only build 2 and then they'll stop. They won't keep going. We have our clams, clam fishermen, they're getting clams. If you're not sure if the clams are here or they're able to be picked, you'll see the hand symbol there. Now, each of these pits can only hold 100, so it's extremely important that you know that you might need a couple of these storages, depending. A good way to know if you have enough berries without having to tell people to go pick them is just create another gather group really quick and then click on here. There's still only 32 berries, so I don't really want to do that. So it's probably best if I just get rid of this group as a whole. It's just one good way to check. Here you can see that there's a lack of sticks. We really need people to focus on getting sticks together. So let's find our stick group. Let's actually raise the priority up, and so we know, hey, we really need 6 guys. We can actually lower our clam group down to 2 and get our sticks going up 2 more spots. We pretty much have everyone working now, and we're maximizing our efficiency the best we can. Let's go back to the builders group. I don't care that there's only 2, so let's let them keep building ropes. Plant fibers aren't really good for anything else right now in the early access, so we'll just have them continuously making ropes. Especially since each hut needs 5 ropes, so just make the ropes, guys. We're gonna speed this time up quite a bit. We'll go here and just make sure that everyone's doing what they need to be doing. We have a pretty decent amount of plant fibers now. People are making ropes already. We're getting sticks in. So we have a pretty good kind of handle on everything right now. Eventually we're going to need to get some rocks or some raw stones here just to build a fire. So for now, I think let's focus on getting these huts built. Now, let's actually pause the game. You can see that we actually have a lot of plant fibers, but we don't really have many ropes. Another way to kind of combat that is, again, let's make a storage area for the ropes. Let's click on the builders here. Let's click that. We don't really need a big storage area, just enough to tell them, hey, we need some ropes here, guys. If we set the priority up high, go production, say it's high, they'll know to actually put some ropes there. Now here it says there's some sticks in the storage. I think I just set it so close to the sticks that it actually kind of held some of the sticks, but that's fine. Now the builders know, hey, this is the rope area, and we actually need to start putting a little bit of hustle on building some ropes. So let's see if that actually works. It's going to be night, so we're going to pass right through this. I'm going to skip this part of the video just because they're really not going to be doing anything at night. But I just want to kind of show you how to build that storage area and how to put high priority on things. All right, now that it's daytime, both our pits are finished, which is great. We're going to tell this to hold clams as well because this one's actually starting to get full. So I think our builder is going to be starting to build some of the ropes. We have 3 builders working on things. And you can see the plant fibers are going down. So that means the builders have taken the plant fibers out and are working with the plant fibers to create some ropes. And you can see if they're making ropes by going right here. You can tell that they're ropes, and you can see that they're builders. And they're crafting. So they're doing exactly what we told them to do. So if you definitely need to do high priority stuff, just make a really quick storage and say, hey, we need a lot of stuff there really quick. And that'll put a little bit of a fire under the builders. Let's go over to a dryer rack. They need a lot of sticks for these. This one's actually almost done and just needs some rope. Once we have these dryer racks complete, we can actually have some dry fish and tell the fishermen to actually go out and do some stuff. So these huts are actually slowly starting to get completed, which is really nice. Let's actually get a couple more builders here because I think it's important that we get a lot of our stuff done. Now that we have access of builders and like we have way more jobs than we do people, it's important to kind of realize that we do have enough food to last us for a little bit, so it's okay if we don't have the berries and clams people working on things. They'll go back to berries and clams when there's not enough jobs to do everything right now. Now let's go back to our sticks, people. There's 96 sticks or 96 different things we can collect, not necessarily just 96 sticks. As you can see, we have over 100 sticks. But it's important to keep that in mind when you're building different things, that there might not be a lot of kind of sticks and stuff in that area. So this hut's actually almost completed, which is awesome because at least 6 of our people will have somewhere to sleep tonight. Or maybe the next night. I doubt we're going to have this done in time. Awesome. We have a dryer completed. Let's click on that. This one still needs to be worked on, but at least this one's done. So we can actually start fishing and we can actually start drying things. Lucky for us, we have a couple pools of fish here, which is great. By default, it automatically says, hey, let's dry some fish because we don't have any other animals here. I think it's at the priority high, but we have no one to really work on this yet. In order to get people to work on things, what we're going to do, I'm going to pause this really quick because I think the villagers are doing something silly. Let's go here to our groups. Let's get a fishing group. You don't really need to rename this unless you want to, but we can click on this. We want to assign this building to them. That way the fishermen know, okay, as soon as we get done fishing, we want to start sticking fish right here. By clicking on this building by default, it'll actually show you all the fish in the area. We don't have a whole lot, but that's okay. We don't want to overfish either because if we overfish, fish won't pop back up in the area. So we don't actually want a lot of people here. If we click the work groups again, we're going to go back to the builders and we're actually going to set up another storage area. Sorry, this video is a lot longer than my other ones, but I feel like this is just a lot of ragtag leftover things to do. We're actually going to set up this storage area here. This is kind of a big area, but this one's just going to store dry fish specifically. I want this close to the drying racks, that way they don't have to walk very far, and it's pretty close to our huts. So everything's kind of close to each other. Real fish won't be hanging out here because we're going to have a high priority in just drying the fish so they can last as long as possible. Now that this is done, I didn't set anyone on the wet hands group just because I don't think it's that important, but maybe we can have 1 or 2 people do it if they feel like it. Again, I have way more jobs open than I do people, but that's okay. What we can do is reduce this down to nobody, since I don't really want anyone gathering clams at the moment, and so if anyone feels like it, they can go fishing if they want to. Let's speed this up again. So one thing we can really focus on before it gets really dark out here is let's go back to our sticks group and lower the priority on sticks. I could name this sticks and rocks if I wanted to, but I'm just going to call it sticks for now. Let's go to another gathering group here, the Gatheritos, and we're going to name this stone. So these people are specifically going to pick up stones and things like that in this area. We'll set this down to 4 members, which is fine for us. There's 210 stones in the area. Let's go here. Back to the builders. These menus can get a little confusing sometimes, especially if you're going by fast like I am. Let's go here. We're going to set this to stones. Remember to make sure that the Gatheritos or our stone people know that the storage here is specifically for them. Otherwise, they're going to be really confused. Again, let's go back to our builders. I'm going to create 1 more storage area. Now, this is just in the high hopes that there's actually these bigger raw stones in the area, because we kind of need that for our fireplace. Let's put a high priority on that. Again, let's go back to our stones people and set the storage area specifically for them. Now they know to be on the lookout for this. I don't know if these are going to be in the area, but one can hope, right? Let's go back and see if anyone's in this stone group. They're not, because we have actually a lot of groups here for them to pick from. So let's lower the plant people since we have a lot of plants already. We notice that we don't have any hay, so let's kind of put a high priority on the hay. We can actually maybe, let's see. Nope, we still want a decent amount of people gathering things, so we might want to switch that back. Let's go back and look here. So we still have more jobs than we do people. We can lower the how many builders we have down to 3. So I think we're pretty decent when it comes to that. We actually have just enough jobs for everyone to work, since we took the berries and clams out. Let's speed the time up here and let them just go to sleep. So I think that's going to be all for this video. I know this is much longer than my other videos since it's kind of like a ragtag, like, oh my gosh, what's going on here? But I really wanted to show you guys some of the kind of leftover things that we have going on and how really important it is to start building things. In part 5, we'll try to gather some more stone, and hopefully we can show you the end product of what having everything up and going is, and people being happy, and hopefully having some babies in our camp. Alright, thank you so much, and have a great day.